The manager of the aquarium, Jafar Migdadi, showed me how some of the animals eat. The camouflage stonefish, which Jafar explained to me is poisonous, moved with astonishing speed when presented with a fish to eat. The hermit crab took its time pulling its lunch apart while eating. I also learned that moray eels have very bad vision and hunt their prey using primarily their sense of smell. It's funny watching the fish fight over their food. Jafar showed great bravery by holding a sea urchin in his hand and explaining how they have special mouths that feed on the undersides that scrape algae off coral and rocks for feeding. I was fascinated by the frogfish that upon first glance appeared to just be algae covering a rock. The boxfish made me laugh as it really looked like a box with fins and a cute tiny mouth. My new friends and Julia and I went on an excursion to the famous desert Wadi Rum, just 30 kilometers north of Aqaba. The rich history, including being a key location during the Arab Revolt and the stories of Lawrence of Arabia, makes Wadi Rum a famous destination, in addition to its immense beauty and appeal for hikers, climbers, and nature lovers. After finding out information at the visitor center, we sat down at the Wadi Rum restaurant for a big buffet lunch of local food. Then Nikki and I tried to find out what it's like to ride a camel. It truly is the best way to get around the desert. Nevertheless, we hire a driver with a 4x4 truck to show us some of the highlights of Wadi Rum. Driving amongst the majestic mountains with their many colors of geologic layers was both quite humbling and awe-inspiring. We luckily were driven to a rarity in the vast desert, natural spring water. It felt amazing to splash around in the cool water like a child on such a hot day. Continuing with our jeep tour, we were approached by a friendly group of camels. One of the members of the camera crew began feeding the thirsty camels from his water bottle. We could see that the camels were very appreciative. The next stop in our caravan was the Khazali Sikh, to see the drawings on the walls by the ancient Nabateans, which showed some stories of the desert and some of its history. This Sikh is also a well-known favorite resting place of Lawrence of Arabia, who used to escape from the harshness of the desert within the protective walls of the Sikh. After a long and eventful day in the desert, we decided to visit the Halawi camps to spend the night. There's nothing like dancing to Bedouin music in the middle of the desert with tourists from around the world. After a huge meal of Bedouin food, of course, we decided to climb the nearby mountain to enjoy a view of the camp and to check out the nicely lit up caves. We were called out over the loudspeaker to climb back down the mountain before the camp shut down its lights in order to allow for better stargazing. As the desert air cooled throughout the evening, we lit a fire to stay nice and warm. I couldn't believe how enormous the full moon looked from where we sat. The sense of peace the desert brings at night is unlike anything I'd ever felt before. After breakfast at the camp, we were invited to see the annual camel races, in which young men and boys from all over the Middle East race for the honor of their tribes. We watched as the lean, muscular camels raced around the enormous track with the crowds cheering excitedly. I'd never seen anything like this unique sport. And the festive celebrating after the race was something I'll never forget. Before saying goodbye to Wadi Rum, we stopped to watch the most beautiful sunset I'd ever seen. This was a great way to end such an amazing trip. I'll return home with many memories of the beauty of the Aqaba area in Jordan, and I'll never forget the kind hearts of the people. Believe me, you don't want to miss out on such a magnificent trip, and I look forward to the day when my friends and I can return to this remarkable land.